Welcome back. The phrase death with dignity is being fought over on both sides of the euthanasia debate. Today's hospice movement and excellent palliative care provide dignity and beauty to life's final journey with a natural outcome. Take a look at what happens when you add faith into the mix.
There's always hope. There's always, always hope.
Meet Tony Clark.
And for me, the hope comes in my relationship with Jesus Christ, but it also comes in the understanding of how to manage this disease and knowing that you can be, you can get ahead of the curve and become an advocate, or have somebody else become an advocate for you.
When we first caught up with him in 2008, he looked the picture of health. But Tony was dying of kidney cancer, and he knew it.
I don't really have a bucket list that says I need to go someplace or I need to do something. To me, it's really about relationships. First of all, my relationship with God. I mean, that has become so much more important to me and so much more profound in things that I do every day. As I said, it's just become just a complete part of my life. And you know, as I've said to Sharon, if the doctor said, and it will happen sooner or later, if the doctor said to me I had 3 months to live, it's not about where I want to go or things I want to do. It's really the people I want to spend time with. And God willing, you know, if those 3 months ever come, that I will be able to surround myself with family and friends and the people that are really, really close to me, and just end my life that way.
That's what he did.
He fought the disease that would ultimately claim him for 6 years. In the weeks after his death, Tony's widow Sharon shared her intimate recollections of his final days.
He was so surrounded by everyone who loves him and wanted to be with him. And he had an opportunity to say goodbye to everyone, to say something special to each one of his children, to his godchildren, to his nieces and nephews and best friends. And it was really lovely. It was really lovely.
Tony was the type of person who believed in living life to the full. Active and successful in career and family, he was a passionate contributor to his church and community. And when he got sick, he founded Kidney Cancer Canada to improve the quality of life for people who battle the rare disorder. What does it mean to you, Sharon, as Tony's life partner, to know that he lived his life the way he wanted to live it, with gusto and fully, as long as he could, and that he died the way he wanted to die?
He did die the way he wanted to die, and he lived life to the fullest right up until, as I say, you know, the Tuesday before he died on Thursday. That's really when he said, no, that's it, I want to go and be with Jesus. And that's exactly what he said to my daughters and myself. I'm ready.
Tell me about the atmosphere during those last days. What was it like?
Most of it was lovely. Most of it was family coming and going and seeing everyone and coming in to this room and quietly spending time with Tony and then leaving and being very loud and noisy in the backyard. And he could hear it, which was wonderful. He could see them out the window in the backyard, but still have his time that he could recoup his energy. There were some scary times when he was very short of breath and it was hard to get that under control. So that was really hard. But generally, overall, it was lovely. It was just lovely. I can't imagine that God, I knew God was here simply because of the peace that I felt, the peace that Tony felt, the peace that people felt when they came into this house.
Sharon, many people, when they think about dying of a terminal disease, they worry about suffering. Mm-hmm. Do you think that if Tony were here, that what would he say to them about that worry?
Tony had a fear of suffering at the end. He absolutely did. What he did with that fear was give it to God. And I think that that's where he got his strength. I know that's where he got his strength. I think that honestly he would say now, it was all managed well for me.
Sharon, people who advocate for euthanasia often use the term death with dignity to describe euthanasia or physician-assisted suicide.
Right.
Tony had neither of those solutions. He used neither of those things in his situation. He died a natural death. Would you say that he died a dignified death?
Oh, yes, I would say he died an amazingly dignified death. And his death was actually beautiful. It was from the time he said, "I'm ready to be with Jesus," we were able to sedate him and keep him very comfortable.
Tony spent his dying days at home, where a veritable army of family and friends cared for him and for one another. 2 hours before he died, Tony was taken to hospital by ambulance, where he was surrounded by family one final time.
The sun was setting, and the sun started setting, and it started on his feet. And as it rose to his head, he was bathed in sunlight when he took his last breath. And that to me was such a promise that God, it was just like, I have him and I'm with him now, you know?
When I hear you describe Tony's last days, I hear words like community, faith, church, home church, family. There are many people who don't have those kinds of supports. What would your advice to them be in terms of living their lives now?
You know, one of the things that Tony and I always believed important, other than our faith in God, which was our primary purpose in life, but is relationship. And relationships to us, and I think anyone who knew us as a couple or knows us would say that that's who we are. We're relational people. And I think that by investing in others and being and loving and caring and being other-centered, that it just comes back when you're alone. If you're dying, and you won't be alone if you can build relationship in this life now and be invested in other people.
This blog, created by Tony's daughters in the months before he died, testifies to the impact he had on the lives of countless others. Page after page of letters and photographs, words of love and appreciation for a man who chose to live fully until he died.
I'm really grateful that we had 6 years. They weren't always easy, 6 years, but we had them. And he said, you know, onwards, I am choosing life. And he did. He chose life the whole way.
When we return, 3 things to remember about the growing euthanasia debate in Canada. That's next in The Wrap.